Hey traders, so welcome back to the channel. And the headlines of the day is that Bitcoin just dropped below the massive 92k support level. And I have been calling for a crash in Bitcoin, for a correction in Bitcoin from these all-time highs to low 88k levels. And it just tests that. I have been telling about that on my Twitter, on Telegram, and on other social profiles. I will attach a screenshot there, and I will attach my Telegram and Twitter link in the description so you can check out themselves. Now the question right now stands, is this the dip on Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is going to test more lower levels? So this is the main question, but before understanding and before answering that, we have to understand that why Bitcoin jumped initially in like the mid November, and why we saw this consolidation phase, and then we will be able to understand why Bitcoin is currently trading lower. And after that, when we answer all these questions, we will be able to get the answer to, is this the dip, or Bitcoin is going to go much lower than this. So first of all, starting with this post election breakout area. Now why this breakout happened? This breakout happened most majorly because of Trump. So Trump won the elections, and Trump is considered as a pro-crypto president. His policies are expected and were expected to favor the Bitcoin. That's why at this time in the post-election, we saw some bulls get excited, and we saw a big massive bull run onto the Bitcoin, and Bitcoin tested its peak around the 108 level. But after a few months, after a few weeks to that, we started to see Bitcoin enter in a consolidation phase. We have answered that why Bitcoin got into a massive bull run. Now the second question is that why we saw this consolidation phase. I'm going to answer that with proper technical and fundamental and sentimental perspective. So sentimentally, in those days when Bitcoin was trading around the 100k levels, there was a lot of hype on social media around the Bitcoin. The general public, their interest was getting higher and higher around the Bitcoin. They were getting too much excited and too much greedy around the Bitcoin. And generally speaking, whenever the sentiment looks like this, that a lot of the general public, they are too bullish or too greedy around one asset, that asset tends to fall to grab the liquidity. So this is the sentimental perspective. Okay, now we have to understand the fundamental perspective. The fundamental perspective at this time was for the Bitcoin that there were tariff fears. Okay, so the tariffs were a uncertainty for Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is a risk asset, and it doesn't like to see uncertainty. Bitcoin just trades like the nasdaq, the S&P 500, and the other risk assets. And whenever there's uncertainty, Bitcoin tends to fall or go in a consolidation or a profit taking phase. So at this times, we were seeing some tariff fear, some tariff uncertainty, high inflation, and stuff like this. That's why we saw continuous profit taking by the investors from all-time highs onto the Bitcoin. So this was the answer to the second question, that why Bitcoin has entered in a consolidation phase previously. Now the last question is that why we are seeing this leg down to the Bitcoin, why we are seeing this, and is this the start of a bigger leg down, or this is the dip to buy? This is the last question now. So the answer to that is, I will try to help you understand this again with proper fundamental and technical and sentimental perspective. Talking about the fundamentals first. What Bitcoin loves to see as a risk asset. So what Bitcoin loves to see? Bitcoin loves to see a strong economy. Secondly, Bitcoin loves to see a strong labor market. And lastly, Bitcoin loves to see a cooling of inflation. So this is the best case scenario for the Bitcoin, because whenever you have a strong economy and a strong labor market, it means there are less uncertainties. People have money in their pocket, people have hope for the economy, people are expecting the economy to grow, and that's why people go and invest their money in the risky assets like the Bitcoin. So that's why this is the best case scenario. But what we are seeing right now is totally opposite to it. What we are seeing right now, we are seeing a slowing down economy, we are seeing a slowing down labor market, and we are seeing a rising inflation. Okay, so this is the scenario which we are seeing right now. Now, by saying this, a slowing down economy, I don't mean to say that the economy is crashing or the labor market is crashing. No, we are not in that doomsday era. Okay, I'm just saying that the data of the February was not that much satisfying. It created some concerns about somewhat of some economic uncertainty, you can say. So this is the scenario which Bitcoin don't loves to see, but this is the scenario in which we are currently living. That's why we are seeing the leg lower onto the Bitcoin, because obviously whenever you see some high prices, if people are going out and they are seeing high prices and they are seeing slow economic growth, this creates fear in the people, this creates uncertainty. And at these times, instead of investing in risky assets, people tend to go and invest in safe haven assets like the gold and some other stuff like this, maybe the dollar, stuff like this. Okay, so this is the scenario in which we are currently living, and that's why Bitcoin is seeing this leg lower. Now, the major question and the last question probably is that, is this the dip? Should we buy this dip, or is this the start of a bigger correction into the Bitcoin? Now, personally, what I would like to do now, to be honest, I am personally longer and bullish onto the Bitcoin, and my target by the year end for the Bitcoin is around 115K level. Obviously, it can be moved higher, but right now, this is the minimum target for the Bitcoin by the 2025, and this is my personal target. So, in the longer run for this year, I am bullish on Bitcoin, and majorly I am bullish because of a pro crypto president who is Trump, obviously. But right now, I don't think so that this is the right time to invest or to buy the Bitcoin or to trade into the Bitcoin. What bulls want to see right now, bulls want to see uh, some signs of a strong economy, some signs of a strong labor market, and at the same time, you need to see some signs of a slowing down inflation in March. If you start to see these signs back again in March, then obviously you can look to buy Bitcoin. But at these current prices, at this current moment, I am not personally interested into the trading Bitcoin. And what I am thinking for Bitcoin with this current economic data and with this current inflation data, I think that Bitcoin can very well test this post-election breakout area around the 75 to 70K area. So technically and fundamentally, if we see the current picture, it is very likely for the Bitcoin to test these lower levels. But again, this doesn't mean that you should be become a bear onto the Bitcoin. Now, many people will say what you want us to do. You are saying don't buy, you are saying don't sell. What you exactly want us to do? I will explain. In the longer run, Bitcoin stays bullish. And if you want to be a wise trader, if you want to be a wise investor, you should stay with the longer term trend. And this doesn't mean you should buy whenever you see a dip. You should wait for the dip to be over. You should wait for the total fundamental backing of that dip to be over. Okay, that's what you need to see, and this is what I'm doing right now. I'm patiently waiting for these levels, and if we see these levels, and at the time if we are seeing some signs of a strong economy, some signs of a cooling inflation, then obviously I will be interested to enter and buy the Bitcoin and hold for the longer term. Right now it's not the time, it's just a time to stay away from the Bitcoin at this current prices, with this current economic picture, with this current labor market and inflation data and all that stuff. This is not the right time. Wait for the right time, enter with proper fundamental backing. And if you want to be updated about regular fundamental and technical analysis of different assets, along with obviously sentimental perspective, then I will drop the link of my Telegram channel in the description. You can join our Telegram channel. It's totally free of course. I update the analysis of different assets there regularly with proper fundamental and technical and sentimental perspective. So if you are someone who is interested in that, make sure you do check out our Telegram channel. It's totally free to join. So this was pretty much it for the video. Best of luck and happy trading and a good week ahead.